Hey there, it's Dorleen. Welcome to my channel and also to my creative life. I'm working on a project for the Jen Lee Schoolcraft website, which we make pretty crafty things using new and used crafty supplies. So I was gifted this stamp set. It's called Ava, and it's a Julie Netting stamp set. I have some of my own that I've used before, but I haven't played with them in a long time. I decided to make a Slimline card, and that's because of the long or the tall stamp. And a Slimline measures 3.5 by 8.5. So what I did is I cut a piece of 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. On the 11-inch side, I cut it to 7, and then I did the score line at 3.5 to make the card base. Now I'm going to be stamping her on a smaller piece of white cardstock, so I trimmed it down to 3 by 8, and then I'm going to do a pink mat later, which is 3.25 by 8.25. So everything just stacks and mats nicely. So I thought first when I took the stamp out, I realized I don't have an acrylic block or a stamp platform, a loose one that would fit with this stamp. So that's why I pulled out my Misty, because I have this whole entire area to play with. And so I just kind of laid her down where I thought she should be. Of course, I have to put it stamp side down, which is what I did when I turned it around, and used my magnets to hold my cardstock in place. I just kind of went around, and I added some black ink to this, and then I stamped it. Luckily, it only needed the one impression, which is fine. I actually love it when that happens. But the nice thing with the Misty is if you do have to make another impression, you just add more ink and then just stamp it right back down, and you don't lose the placement of the stamp or where the stamp placement should be because of the cover of the Misty, which keeps everything in place. So another thing I did is, because I'm going to do some paper piecing, which is when you only use certain portions of the stamp, you cut it out, and then you kind of build on the stamp base. So I'm doing her dress in this pink pattern paper, and I just found one from my scrap pile. I wanted one with kind of small print because I thought it would work best, but really large print would have worked just as well. So if you notice, the head's chopped off, half the feet aren't there, that's fine, because all I'm using is the dress. So I'm going to be cutting this out again, fussy cutting it, and then putting it on the stamp of the doll, as the placement guide. So I did grab some alcohol markers, and I'm going to do some layering with colors, both basically just flesh tone and hair on this, and of course the shoes. So I just have one of those tri-blend markers, which I absolutely love because there's no guesswork on what's going to work together. So I did a couple of really light-skinned ones, and I just did the light and medium, but you'll see later that I added a little bit more color because I just felt like she would just almost look too yellow, as you see here. So I'm adding more color here, just kind of highlighting, because I'm keeping that lighter part as just for some more shadowing and just dimension to the piece. And I do add a little bit darker color to the hair as well, but I'll do that later. But here I am just fussy cutting the dress part out, like I mentioned. Now, if you notice really closely, part of her hand is over the dress, so I have to cut that out as well. Super easy though, because it's a pretty big image. And then I'm just going to place her right on there. Isn't that so cute? Now, you don't have to paper piece when you're playing with these dolls. I mean, you could definitely color it in or stamp around it, but I love paper piecing, and it kind of reminds me of playing with paper dolls, and I loved paper dolls when I was a little girl. So I've always loved these stamps, the Julie Netting ones. I don't know why I don't play with them more often. I think because I have them in a place where they're not easily accessible, but I definitely need to pull those out. Now, I did get this stamp set from Jen Lee Schoolcraft, and now that website, she has lots of products, new and slightly used, and it is definitely a place, if you are looking for budget-friendly or low-cost items, this is definitely the place where you need to look, because a lot of those items, or these items, are like, for instance, there's some Stampin' Up! Products that were retired, so they're no longer being sold within their catalog, but you may be able to find them here. Now, you're not going to find lots and lots of multiples of these stamps. So I always say, if you like something and you see it, you grab it. It's kind of like going into like a thrift store, or even like a dollar store or something. Sometimes like you think, oh, I'll come back, I don't need it. And then you come back and they're not there. So because the prices are so low, you can afford to buy now. So again, if you see it, definitely buy it. Now, I do have a coupon code with my name, which is Dorleen, and I'll put the information in the information box. But if you use it as a coupon code, you get 10% off your order as well. So hey, you're saving anyways, and now you're saving a little bit more. But again, the information will be in the information box, and that'll include a link to her website, the coupon code, and also a link to my blog and my Instagram account. So if you're not already following me in all those places, you can definitely take a peek. And also, if you're not following me here, definitely hit that subscribe button. I do at least 2 videos a week, and I concentrate at least one on scrapbooking, and then the other is whatever it is I'm creating in the command center, which is the name of my blog and also my craft room. So you just saw me. I did take that 7 by 8.5 inch piece of paper or cardstock, and I just folded it where I did the score lines. Here's the pink mat that I was talking about, and I cut this at 3 1/4 by 8 1/4, so it just fits perfectly in the front of this card base. And I wanted to do all these pinks because, well, first of all, I love pink. And there is a sentiment on the stamp set that says something about being pink. Pink is always the answer, or something like that. I was originally going to use it on the card, but I just kind of thought, I'm not sure if I would have sent a card that literally just says pink is, the answer. So I changed a little bit of sentiments on those, but you'll see in a minute because I will pull them out. I do, after coloring in this piece, I just used a really dark gray alcohol marker, and then I went over it in just some areas and highlighted and shadowed, whatever you want to call it, with black. I've mentioned it before, folks. I am not a person that you want to learn how to color from, but I do my best. I just try to do some solid colors with a little bit of shadows, and I think that works fine for what I do. Now, if you want to take a lesson with all, especially alcohol markers where, they have 3-4 different shades and they look so realistic, it's amazing. Definitely do not get that from me. I did add some pink ink around the edges. I was a little upset because I got a little puddling or splotches on the right side of the gal, but it looks fine. It still adds some color, and I was really happy with it, so I'm not going to redo it. Again, this is a very simple card actually, and I don't make slimline cards very often, but every time I make one, I ask myself, why don't you make slimline cards more? Because they're a lot of fun to create. You get a little bit bigger space, and look at something like this, so easy. Now, I wasn't sure exactly where I was going to put the sentiment, so that's why I made that bar, or that's not a bar, that pink piece of paper, I want to say is like 1.5 inches. And so then I cut the white just a little bit smaller because I wanted to fit within the pink with only a border on the top and bottom. Now I have the same width, you see there. So that is actually 3 1/4 because it matches the mat as far as width. But for height, I like I said, I gave it a little bit smaller so you can see a border of that. Now, here's the sentiment I did use, which says, "You are remarkable." And I think that's something I would probably send more often than, pink is the answer. Or I probably should really look and see what exactly it says. But it just was kind of a non-committal, I guess, sentiment, which, I would probably send it to a friend or something, but I like this one better because, hey, you are remarkable. If nobody's told you today, I'm telling you today, you are remarkable. But I hope you like this video so far. I mentioned earlier, I do post at least 2 a week. And one is always scrapbooking, and the other is whatever it is I'm creating. I create all kinds of different fun, crafty things. It just keeps me interested, and it's fun. And I think it gives a little bit of variety. So if you're like me and you do a lot of different crafts, it's kind of fun to just kind of go to one YouTube channel and see variety of projects that you can make. I do have multiple playlists, so if you are only interested in card making, let's say, then you just click on the card making one. If you're interested in junk journaling, which I love, and I've been playing in there more and more, you can always just look at that one. But anyhow, or just look at all of them, which, why not? I'm tying a bow here. Like, look, I am not a very good bow tire, but you know what? It kind of worked there, but if you notice, it's still a little loose. So once I cut off the tails here, I actually went in the back and I cut this in half because I was really happy with the way that bow looked. So I put some glue there, and then I'm going to snip it. You're going to see me, oh, well, it's a little off camera, but you're going to see me snip it. And I'm going to use the glue to just hold those ends together. And even when I put it on the card, I'm going to put more glue in the back so you can't tell, and it won't fall off because it's got plenty of glue. But I did love the way that bow turned out, so I did not want to redo it because I had a feeling it was not going to turn out as good. And I just put her like not necessarily in the middle, it's a little bit lower than the middle, but I covered up her hand a little bit, which, you know what, that's okay. It serves, I mean, you could still tell there's a hand there. It doesn't really take away anything with it being covered. But look at this. So I think to myself, that doesn't look straight. So I pull it up and I play with it. And then I literally put it in the exact same spot. But for some reason, it seems straight now. I'm so silly. But anyhow, I do hope you like this video. And if you do, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to leave a comment if you have something exciting to say, or maybe a recommendation on what I could do next. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. I would really, really appreciate it. And I really want to thank you so much for watching. And make sure you go to that Jen Lee Schoolcraft website. I'm telling you, folks, you will not be disappointed. Thanks again for watching. I did add some splatter here and there just because I felt like, you know what, I'm doing pink on pink on pink. Why not go all the way with some more pink? So just a little bit of splatter up there on the top, and then just a little bit on that bottom corner. I did put that paper there just to block the image because I did not want to get any pink splatter on her skin tone, especially not her face. But there you go. Thanks again for watching. I truly appreciate it. Bye.